Good morning, all over the world. We are here together. Did anybody watch the game last night? I had a feeling that the Eagles were going to win. I had a feeling it was going to be tight. I don't think people realize how close the Super Bowl was. It was a fumble here and a bad call there, and that is what football is, right? It's close. And when you're at that supreme level and you have two teams that execute well and have good coaching and great players, the truth is, though, this year, the Chiefs just don't seem to have the juice, the offensive power that they've had in the past. They're lacking a little bit of finesse. They're having problems scoring in the fourth quarter. They're not explosive like they used to be. Defensively, they're better than they've ever been. Unbelievable in comparison. So it looks like they spent the bucks on defense, which is great, and they put a lot of effort into it. But you look at Philadelphia, and they're a well-balanced team, right? Offensively, they have the tools. I'm looking right here. It says Michael Bathurst, join now streaming. And we're going to have maybe Solomon on today. So we'll see if he pops up. He's supposed to be up around 8. I thought we would discuss a few things before he came up. Anyone who is new to Restream, I've been promoting it like crazy. Restream is what? Well, it's on sale. It's a Black Friday sale. Get 50% off. This offer will be done soon. For all the Americans, we've got just around the corner Thanksgiving. You're going to be seeing family. There's going to be stressors. Going to be all kinds of craziness going on. So be careful with your stress levels, what drives you crazy, all those type of things. Healthy living does not just add years to your life. It adds life to your years. Enjoy every step. What do you do if your knees are gone? I'll tell you, I think I've got arthritis. So I'm looking here, and we're going to do some notifications because I don't think we're going to have time when we have my friend here. So we've got, let's look at this. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. So let's go here. Share this one. All right. Here we go. Okay. So this morning, let's take a look at first. We've got Mel here. And Mel is someone I've been following for 2 years. At least 2 years. And creator, art, poetry, nature, mindfulness. Never give up on yourself. I would agree. She never gave up on me. She was always supportive. Haps was a marathon. And if it wasn't for people like Dear Mel, it wouldn't have been as fun. Walt was the same. Walt was always a very supportive person, very kind. There's a beautiful network on Twitter Spaces that has Donika and Tim Brown, as you see here as well. And 21 seconds ago, Donika, how are you? Are you working this morning, Donika? I think you are. We are going to be on soon. I'm glad that you're here. I'm wondering how you've been. I'm going to see. Let's see if I can give her an invite here. All right, copy. I'm going to add this to here. And if you can come up for a moment, that would be great. And it's just like a Zoom call reply. There we go. So if you want to come up just to say hello, tell us what you've been up to, what kind of things you're into right now, fitness programs, all kinds of good stuff. This screen is so wide. Ah, there we go. That's better. It was bleeding into my other screen. So currently it is 4 minutes before 8. And the noises are starting to begin in the background as we're here together. So one of the things that I suggest, if you have Restream, is put the music on in the background, and it will help mask some of those sounds. And I find around 8:30 it starts to bop. There you go. And that won't be crazy loud. The other thing I find too, it self-adjusts in the broadcast. It's interesting to me because it's like, who makes all this music, right? It's got to be musicians. So all this background stuff that is free, someone has got to be making a living from it. You know, they're supplying a service. I love Donika's thanking Tim for helping her support so many people around the world. And that's the great thing, is we are here together, right? In this collective, this matrix, whatever you want to call it, helping each other each day. So if you're a person who loves to do town meetings, right? You love to do the bake sale. You're a person who helps out at the church. Your ministry could be this free stage called Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, right? LinkedIn, if you have it. Twitch, if you're trying to promote your business, or you're just trying to connect people, or if you're trying to uplift people. This is a great way to do it. Now, on here, we try to every day be on for a few minutes. And sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 30. But then what I do is I take these cuts, the parts that are, I think, more entertaining than others, and I put them on TikTok. And then you repurpose these. The other great thing is too, is later you can make a collage of sorts of your audio work. And the great thing is if you have multiple guests, one of the programs that they offer with Restream is that you can have individual recordings. So let's say there's someone screaming in the background and being disruptive, or there's background noise, but the one person's mic is excellent. You can get rid of the other two and just isolate the one. And that is what I would call pretty much a professional tool. So nice here. I'm looking at a picture of Travis and Jason. They embrace and laugh after the Eagles beat the Chiefs. Travis has been complaining about being in a lot of pain this year and has also considered maybe retiring. And I really think he's trying to set himself up to be an actor. You know, he has definitely got star power, and he's definitely in the right circles right now to do what he needs to do. Now, Solomon, I think, is here with us. I just heard the beep, and I see him on the bottom here. Solomon is from Dubai. And him and I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but I guarantee we'll have no problems talking about it. Because if you have Solomon here, you've got lots to talk about. How are you, friend?
I'm very well, Michael. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Look what I've done here. I've made me really big and you really small. There, that's better.
Okay, so how do I tell me quickly how to link this up? Let me do that so that people can see on Twitter.
Well, you're supposed to be able to, when you come in the room, link it with your other stuff, but you have to give Twitter permissions and everything.
Yeah, true,
Yeah.
true.
True is right.
Okay.
Okay. I think he's gonna try. I think he's gonna try to link it to his network. Okay. Oh, now he's back. We're gonna go
Okay.
around in circles. You left us there just for a moment.
Okay, can you see me and hear me now?
I can hear you. I can see you. I can see the pores of your face. There's so much detail.
Awesome.
I can see nostril hairs. I see it. I see it all.
That's funny because that's one thing I'm very particular about is my grooming.
Are you really?
Oh my God, Michael.
Yes.
I'm like crazy. I go for my manicure, my pedicure.
Wow.
Yeah. I've got a salon, by the way. So it's really nice that I can just go to my own salon and get all the work done.
I didn't know you did that.
Yeah. I do have place.
How long have you been doing that?
About 4 years now.
Good for you. Now, what was that? Just a good business type? You thought people need to get this stuff done, and
Well, I just, me and my brother, we wanted to get our youngest brother, involved in the business. So there was this place for sale, and we just thought it might be a good start for him. So he's the youngest in the family. So, bought it for him. And he goes there, a couple of times a month to kind of have a look at it and stuff. But, it kind of runs on its own. We've got 4 guys working there. And they do all kinds of stuff, shave and haircuts and, manicure, pedicure, everything. Yeah.
in Canada, I don't know how prosperous a business that is, but for a while in Canada, everybody was buying laundromats.
That's right. It's still one of the biggest revenue-making businesses in America.
Yeah, I believe
People
that.
don't. Yeah, people don't know. But more than laundromats, what makes money is these small dry clean stores.
Yeah,
And its majority of it is run by the Chinese, Koreans, and
yeah,
there's a lot of money in that. And so people ignore these small businesses, but that's where the money is. Because you work on volume more than the profit margin. You see, so it works
Oh,
out
I
really
didn't
well.
know that. I thought the profit was good. Because I've seen people go in and get their stuff cleaned in Canada, and they get a few items, and it's like, this was $90. I'm like, what? I'm talking
Yeah.
suits and stuff, and I'm like, ooh, there's got to be some markup in that.
Oh,
Thinking,
absolutely. Because
Not-
the machines are so advanced these days. They'll do everything, and you've got this new steam press. That when you hang up your shirt or your trouser, they give you a burst of steam and they get it done like in minutes. So very efficient business.
I'm going to look at, we got chat here. We got Tony D checking in from work. Hi, Tony. How are you doing, buddy? So I can't see the Twitter comments unless I look here. I've got it on my other screen here. But I think I'm trying to explain to you the way it works is that it's very much like a Zoom call, but
Yeah.
within Restream, you have to set up, like right now we've got LinkedIn, we've got Twitch, we've got Facebook, and we have YouTube. And it says, and I
What
think I
about
missed-
Twitter, Michael? Do you have are you live on Twitter?
I'm live on Twitter.
Oh, there you go. That's it.
But here's the problem with Twitter. We don't see the comments from Twitter.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Hmm.
So unless I'm on my own channel, so I know that 21 seconds ago, Danica
Mhm.
left a comment to, Tim and Bobby Bicker and 8 others, which might be you as well, and says, thank you so much for all the support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she was kind of celebrating her birthday on Twitter. she did a tweet, how she got into Twitter because of her sister Bobby,
Yes.
and then what a great experience she's had, and so she was thanking everybody, and so it was beautiful. And she's made a lot of impact on a lot of lives. She does great work. She puts in her heart and soul. Her
Hmm.
guided meditation is beautiful. People get a sense of belonging in her space because she's so good in sort of relating to people that might be going through issues. So, Donica has been one of my favorite people on Twitter for a long time. She is just a wonderful person. My relationship with her off the Twitter platform developed last year. I was going through a little bit of something and I called her up and I said, Donica, help me out with this. And she was so ready to share, whatever she had to share with me. And it was just brilliant. You see, sometimes you just need a little bit of support system, right? You just want somebody to hear you out and kind of give you those words of positivity. And that's what Donica does really well.
And there she is right there. We put her on the screen. And this
Awesome.
and there she is on all the different platforms. And that's one of the wonderful things you can do with Restream is you can. It's funny. This is her header of her Twitter, and I just pressed on it and brought it up here. So
Wow.
as long as it's on the net, you're rocking. Then when you're done with it, you just click it, and it goes away, and then you have the beauty of the well manicured nostrils of Selma.
You are funny, Michael. And you're frozen again on my screen.
Don't worry
Whenever
about it.
you okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't worry about it. It's just something that happens, but it doesn't affect the recording.
Okay.
And you're
Okay.
not the first person that's
Okay.
happened to.
So
So
you'll still be live in the recording, except that sometimes these things happen, right?
yes. Now, but when I put on a new, I find when I switch with you, that happens. Like I just went
Okay.
from one screen to another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's not like this. Like the other recording we did, and I saw it on every other platform. It was perfect. It was seamless. But what
Awesome.
happens is it goes in their
Mm.
OS, right? So it's on
Yeah.
their web device, which makes it lighter for you. So let's say you don't have a great computer or you have just a phone. It doesn't matter. You can be on multiple platforms. Where if I tried to do this
Mm.
all by myself, oh my god, the bandwidth would be insane, and
Wow.
it would probably crash. But you are crystal clear. I can make out the
Well,
wonderful.
I just bought this new phone, Michael. It's the technology. I just bought this new cell phone. I did a bit of research. I didn't want to
Yeah,
spend too much money. Everybody was like, "Go for the iPhone 15 Pro and this and
yeah,
that, the
yeah.
other."
What did you get?
I just got a Samsung
Mm-hmm.
cell phone,
Yeah,
Android, because I've been using it for a long time, so I'm not familiar with the iPhone features.
yeah,
And so, yeah, I did a bit of research on the YouTube channel. Heard the technical experts talk about the phone, the features, and I
mm-hmm.
just went ahead and got one, and it's working out brilliantly. The camera quality is superb,
Oh,
absolutely superb.
it's wonderful,
Yeah.
and the voice is great. Like I'm just wondering if you're this good looking in person, or if
Well,
this
I'm
is
sitting
just.
live in front of you.
Well, it could be beautiful.
There's no filters. There's no nothing. This is
We
me
don't
as you see it.
we don't know. It's
Uh,
like Tim when I saw him. I went, "Who's this dude?"
You're funny, bro. But here's something that I've noticed, Michael, and I want to hear from
Yes.
you about this since we're having a conversation. Have you noticed that the number of people, sort of in our group, are doing less and less spaces? Do you agree with me or not? Because I
Yeah.
somehow feel that maybe they are struggling to find the right topics because they think it's all been done and now there's nothing new to talk about. Or is it because that they are tired of doing spaces, they're burnt out? What do you think is the reason for it?
Well, it's wild because the title of this is Streaming Tips and Light Chat. And I was hoping that we would address this because a lot of people become very self conscious. and start worrying about things that don't matter. So, you and I think, are seasoned. We're older. We care less what people think about us than maybe we should.
Yeah.
And other people are worried that their hair doesn't look right, or especially if they're streaming. But even on Twitter Spaces, there's forms of burnout,
Hmm.
and people can be nasty. And if it gets etched in your head something someone said, and as humans, we tend to focus on the negative instead of the positive, you know?
Right. Right. Well said. Well said. Absolutely spot on, Michael. I think it kind of happened to me as well, where somebody made a comment. It really affected me, and and you remember I told you, I said when I took a little break, and then I when I see my name on your list, and I go to myself, you know what? I'm not gonna look at the negative side. I'm just gonna continue doing what I'm doing. Now, yesterday, for example, when you came in the space, I had started this space for the Pakistan cricket team that's going to be touring Australia.
Yes.
And my intention was just to sort of speak on the players who've been picked for this tour. And
Right.
next thing you know, people started coming in, and people started coming in. And Michael, at the end of the space, I had 1,400 people in the space.
It's
It was
amazing.
yeah,
That's
it was
amazing.
ridiculous. Yeah, it's crazy. And the crowd from India joined in, and then we had some experts come in, and everybody started chatting about the whole tour and who are the players that may perform, may not perform. And cricket is like so big over here. It's like kind of baseball, series that happens in the U.S. and Canada and everywhere.
And
And
football.
so and football, absolutely. It was a wonderful experience. The space ran for 3.5, 4 hours, and I was exhausted at the end of it. But the point I'm trying to say is sometimes you start something, and it just blows. I wasn't expecting the kind of crowd, but it came in nonetheless. And similarly, now with the format that I do of Chai with Salman, I don't choose a topic. When people come in, they start talking about various things. I then ask certain people, I go, what is going on with you, or what is, something that's bothering you, or whatever. And they'll say something, and I'll just pick up on that, and I'll create a space around it. And then people join in, whether it's somebody needing motivation, or somebody's going through a divorce, or somebody's just had some bad, run in their business, or whatever. So
Yeah.
you kind of, start talking about those issues. And
Yeah.
the one thing about me and you, I think with our experience and our wisdom, we are able to pretty much talk about most subjects. I mean, I tend to, because I've seen life. I tell everybody in my space, I go, first you become a toddler, then you go through your school phase, then you go into your college and university, then you go into your corporate career, then you go into a relationship, then you get married, then you have children, then you reach a certain stage in your corporate sector, and then you head towards where your grandkids come into the equation, and then eventually you take a retirement from work, and then you babysit your grandkid. And in this entire process of life, I have covered almost 75, 80% of it, except of the grandparent part, right? So
Yes.
I was thinking, so when you go through that much life, you have pretty much experienced everything, the highs and the lows. And so it's easy for me to relate to a certain instance, and then be able to speak about it. And so the whole purpose of being, on the spaces is to try and sort of mentor. I mean, I have people in their 40s writing to me in my DM saying, what would be your advice for this? What would be your advice for this? And so it's wonderful to see that now that I've turned 60, how people want to, still want to ask me things related to their personal life or their business and stuff. And it's just wonderful. It makes me feel so happy when somebody reaches out to me and says, can you help? Can you give me some
Yeah.
advice? And people think that, people are not willing to help. That is so untrue. I think if you reach out to people, majority of them will be glad to help you. But we are so afraid to ask for help. We are so ashamed to ask for help that we don't do that. We should reach out to people that inspire us or that motivate us, and say, I'm going through this. Can you please help me? And the word help, you see, is a very difficult word for people. And they don't know how to ask for help. They just don't, and they suffer through the mental, health issues. Because they're unable to speak about their issues, and they quietly keep it within themselves, and it affects everything around them. One, it affects you yourself as a person, but then the people around you get also affected by that. So it's very, very important to reach out to people and say, "Can you please help?"
There's something that we should address. There was a couple real beautiful nuggets in all of that, and the one was that's I think a teachable moment for those who are learning to do any kind of stream. You know, listen to your guest, see where they're going, see what they're into, maybe talk about things that they're comfortable talking about, and trusting the flow. And that's what you're good at. You trust the flow. Like you and I have no script. We just
Yeah,
go.
absolutely. Yeah, we're just going randomly at talking about various things. But like there was this person in my space, Michael, and he was saying to me how he lost a bit of money in a business that he invested in. And so immediately I told him a story. I said, you know what? Let me tell you a little story. I was in Amsterdam airport at Schiphol, and I saw this chocolate shop, this little tiny chocolate shop in a kiosk. And I walked in there. I saw these beautiful handmade chocolates. I bought a whole box of it, and I was flying to LA, and I ate the chocolates on the way to LA. When I got to LA, I realized that we didn't have these chocolates in Dubai, and so I wrote to the company and I said to them, I said, I'd like to distribute your chocolates in Dubai or sell them in Dubai. They said, we would love to work with you, but our minimum order is 150 kg, 150 kilos. I said, okay. I said, let me go back to Dubai. I'll find a location and then I'll get in touch with you. So I came back to Dubai, Michael. I found a little kiosk in a shopping mall. I bought a chiller to keep the chocolates at the right temperature. Did that, paid the rent for the store, got all of that done, got the license and everything else. By that time, I had invested $10,000 into the business.
Right.
Then I placed the order for the chocolates. That cost me another maybe 10 or 15 10,000, I guess. There was a lot of chocolates, and these were expensive handmade chocolates. And so, anyways, the chocolates came. Little did I know that, from the time they ship it, everything has to be perfect in terms of the temperature.
No.
When they arrive at the airport, they've got to be put into a chiller in a reefer. Then when I transport them to wherever I need to take them, that temperature has to be maintained. And the flight came in the night, so I had no place to store the chocolate. So I took them to my house. I put the air conditioning on full blast, and I was hoping they'll be okay till morning, till I can get them to the shop, right? Now, when I got to the shop, Michael, I could only put about maybe 15, 20 kgs in the chiller. The rest had to stay in my house, and I put them in my fridge. And okay, the bottom line is, Michael, in 3 months, I was out of business. I lost my money. I didn't know how to take care of those chocolates. Half of the chocolates I gave away to my friends. The other half, I ate it with my friends.
Yeah.
Some I sold. It was a disaster. That was my...
But it was learning.
Sort of yeah. And I learned so much from it. You see?
Yeah. Painful.
And that's what so I told my friend, I said, listen, these things happen. This is how you become an entrepreneur, by mistakes, by falling, by losing. And so next time when I did something, I was a bit careful to do all my research in advance about a particular product. And so you learn from your mistakes. The trick is to learn from them and not to repeat those mistakes, But guess what, Michael? At the age of 60, I still make mistakes because, you don't know everything. You still need to learn from people. And so the best advice I give to people is, if you don't have the knack of learning, or if you feel that you are, let's say you don't have the adequate information or knowledge about something, hire a person that knows something about that. Get somebody who understands what you're trying to do, so he does it, and doesn't make any mistakes for you. So there's a lot of tips and tricks, when you get into this thing. But, I told him, I said, don't give up. Because it was your first experience, you made a mistake, that's all right. You didn't know about the business. And that's why I quoted this story to him. So sometimes you got to make mistakes to become successful.
If you study success, you look at the people who are the richest in the world,
Yeah.
They a lot of times made no money for 10 years on ideas. Like Amazon was losing money the first 10 years. But
Right.
they had great belief in it.
Right.
The other thing they're saying too is if you like a business, go work
Yeah.
for that business. Go work for
Right.
them for 6 months or a year and see
Right.
the ins and outs and the pitfalls from people who maybe have been doing it a while. And that's the problem.
Ab-
People just assume that everything's going to flow instantly and easily. And I think if you would work for a shop that had this chocolate, you'd go, "Oh my God, this is a nightmare." You got to,
ab- Absolutely. Absolutely. You're 100% right. And I think it's very, very important to, absolutely learn everything about whatever you're going to do. And if you don't have the time to do it, get somebody who knows about that stuff. It's super, super important. But as an entrepreneur, the journey is not easy. It's a tough journey, but rewards are amazing. I mean, I remember, when I made good money at the age of 44, that was the first time I was able to go buy my dream car. I bought myself a Lamborghini, Michael, at
yeah,
44, and that was my dream car. I had a poster of it all my, growing up years, and it felt so amazing that I was a self-made person. I worked hard. My dream came true, and eventually. But you know what? I realized at that stage that it's not about material things. It's not about that. I think success. What success does is it gives you the confidence to know that you are capable of doing something. I think it shows you that, look, you believed in something and you made it happen. There's a
right.
lot more than money about success. Most people that are rich, they are not doing other businesses to make money. They have already made the money. It's about them having the confidence that, I'm going to try and create something new. I'm going to challenge myself with doing this. And it's more so about, them putting themselves out there.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
You
So,
have to be brave.
yeah.
You have to be
And my,
brave and a little silly, I think, and a little
absolutely,
crazy, and a little
absolutely,
crazy, and
absolutely,
not take yourself too seriously.
absolutely, Michael, you're 100% right.
But if you look at, and I've studied success my whole life, in
Yeah.
many of the great, success stories have been through hell to get there. And
Yeah.
everybody assumes that success is like this 3 to 6 month thing. No, sometimes it's 10 years, sometimes it's 20 years, but they finally hit. And especially if you're a musician. Now, you used to own clubs, didn't you, at one point?
Yeah, I owned, yeah, huge, massive. I started it from scratch, and that's the craziest story ever, Michael. I'll do one full hour with you on my success story of where it started, the dream, and
Yeah.
how it ended up. That's one crazy story. But Michael, here's what I wanted to tell you. Look, you know, no idea is stupid. People sometimes think that
Right.
what they have in their head is people are going to laugh at it, or they won't be able to execute it, or no buyer will be there for the product that they're thinking about making. This is the biggest mistake most entrepreneurs do, or people do. When they come up with an idea, they think, no, nobody's going to buy this. There's a very famous story, Michael, and I think you'll remember it. Back in the 70s, there was this guy. His name was Gary Dahl. And
Mm-hmm.
he was sitting in a bar with a bunch of his friends, or I think he was on a poker table, whatever. And these guys were all talking about how it's such a headache to have a pet in the house.
Right.
If it's a dog or a cat, you've got to feed them. You've got to take them out for walks. If
Yeah.
you're going on holiday, you need to leave it in a kennel. And everybody's bitching about taking the dog outside, this, that, the other. I mean, they were just constantly complaining about their pets. And so he went home and he thought to himself, what if I created a pet that requires none of this? No food, no water, no walking, no nothing. And
Mm.
so what he did was, Michael,
Yeah.
he created a thing called the pet rock. Okay,
Oh my
and
God. Okay, I
you,
remember now. I remember
you
now.
remember
Yeah.
that story?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no, I remember the Pet Rocks, which was
yeah.
ridiculous. This was
Yeah, so
70s.
he went and got these stones from a riverbank, and
Yeah.
he packaged them nicely, and he started sending them to people for $3.75 a box.
Yeah.
And he made 17 or 18 million dollars from that. you
Right.
know and people actually bought it because what he was giving them was that, here's your little rock, it's your pet, keep it wherever you are, and you don't have to do nothing with it, you don't need to take care of it, you don't need to do anything with this, right? But
Hmm.
people think it's a silly idea, but there were buyers for it. There is a buyer for everything in this world. Rolls Royce just came out with about 20 cars that are well over 3, 4, 5 million dollars each, and there's a
Yes.
waiting list for it. So there's a buyer for that, and then you have a buyer for a cheap Chinese car. There's a buyer for that. There's a
Yes.
buyer for everything in this world. You just need to find your niche and then go for it. And nothing is stupid. No question is stupid. No
Yeah.
idea is stupid. You've
Yeah.
got to remember that.
Salomon, you know what they do in Canada is the same person who gives you the expensive peanut butter also
Yeah.
makes the no name. And
Wow.
sometimes the no name, not forever, but for a while, the
Yeah.
no name is the Kraft because Kraft made the no name and it's the exact same thing for a while and you're going to pay about $3 less for the no name.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But they would
But
rather have part of the low end
yeah.
and part of the high end. And if they can find a way to get money in the middle, and that's what you're saying, you've got those that will only buy the value, but who is going to then go make, a peanut butter plant? They won't.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
can talk people into making no name for a while.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many generic products out there, probably made by the top companies, but because they are not famous brands, people don't buy them. But the quality is just as good. You gave a perfect example of that.
Do,
Absolutely.
do you have Costco where you live?
I wish we did, bro. I wish we
Do,
did.
do you know what
That
that
is the
is?
only thing I miss over here is the not having a Costco here.
Okay, so Costco will get top brands to make their jeans, and top brands to make their socks, and top brands, and they put it under their brand name. And even a company that went under, it used to be called Eaton's. They would get clothing manufacturers like Arrow and different electronics, and everything was
Mm,
called Viking. But Viking was never Viking. Viking was General Electric, or it was Panasonic, and sometimes you would look at it and go, "This is exactly the same thing with Viking on it," but it's
right,
it's it's less money.
right, right.
So they've been doing that concept now
Yeah,
for
yeah,
50 years.
right.
But I think we're in a new world now, and I've noticed it even with the retail outlets.
Yeah,
So many people now don't go to the mall.
yeah.
They're getting everything delivered.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why all the American malls are dying down. All
Yeah.
the big box retailers are shutting down. JC Penney, Sears, Robinsons, all the big box retailers, they're slowly going out of business. I think maybe a few have survived: Neiman Marcus, Saks Fifth Avenue, Bloomingdale, some of the well-known brands. Majority of them are struggling, Michael. You're absolutely right.
So you're in Dubai,
That's right.
okay? And what is the economy like there?
What's the what? I'm sorry.
The economy? How's the
Uh, the
economy?
the economy is doing amazing over here because Dubai Dubai is considered a very safe city, and so all the rich people are moving here from Europe and stuff because you don't have to worry if you're wearing $1 million watch. You go outside on the street, nobody's gonna steal it from you. And there's no carjackings. There's no anything. The crime is really low here
Why
because
is
they
that?
spend simply because they've got a very strong law enforcement over here. They've got cameras everywhere. They really are very careful on their security side.
Hmm.
They've got the most advanced technology. At the airports, for example, you've got face scanners, and the malls, shopping malls. The people get caught in shopping malls just because somebody's wanted. If he comes in, they've got the face scanners in there.
Yeah.
It's just a top class security system in place over here, and you're able to enjoy a very high end lifestyle over here without having to worry about somebody's going to scratch your Mercedes or your Ferrari or whatever. And so, yeah, I think that is the look. Any country which provides safety and security, that would be a place where people would want to go. Because you're worried you have kids or you have, if you know that you're going to be safe, I think people want to move to that place. Of course, in the summer here it gets extremely hot, so people all travel. They have this is they have their second homes, or people from here go and
Hmm.
spend the summers outside and then come back in the winters. Like now, the winter has started here. It's beautiful. 26, 27, 28 in the day. Nighttime it goes down to 18, 19. It's beautiful. You
Sounds
can't
like
go wrong.
it sounds like a horrible life. It really does. So
I was
here's what I'd like to do, if it's okay with you. I'm going to end it soon here, and then I would
okay.
love for you to try. So what you got to do is you got to sign up for Restream. If you can't do it through your phone, so it doesn't cost anything. It's free, and then you can just put it on two links, and then when you come into the broadcast, it will have those two links. So let's say, I don't know, if you want to put it on your Facebook, but we want to get it on your Twitter in the future.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
every time
So,
you come,
so you want me to, so you want me to download the app of Restream through my device, and
yeah,
then whenever you share the link, then I'll come in with my link or your link, and then because I have that in my device, I'll be able to link my thing with my Twitter and stuff.
right. So
Okay, got you.
when I go to Tony's broadcast, he does
Right,
this football thing we do, and
right.
all of my links will say, "Do you want to link it?" And so when I'm on his show,
Yeah,
It's out at 5 different platforms,
that's awesome.
and
Sure,
then
Michael. I'll do that. I'll do that tomorrow. I'll get it done, and then next time when we
yeah.
meet, I'll be having the app on my phone.
But I love this size of a broadcast, and
Perfect.
then because it's on LinkedIn, and I noticed some of the people from work were like, I like that guy Solomon.
That-
I see he's cool, and I was like, Solomon. Oh yeah, yeah. And he goes, we watched your show, and I went, oh, and he goes,
oh,
but
that's nice, Mike.
but if we could do subjects in the future, I'm gonna maybe bring up stories of
Sure.
business stories of the week, and you and I could chew on them, and
Perfect.
have it around 40 to 50 minutes in that range, and sometimes have guests. The wonderful thing about having just a guest, I get to hear you. Where if we had 8 to 10 people here, it just becomes this ego.
Sure.
Do you know what I
I'm
mean, though?
fine.
You
Either
know.
ways, I'm fine. If you have a couple of 3 or 4 people, that's also fine. It's not an issue. But what I'm going to do is, Michael, since I was unable to link it to my Twitter, as soon as it comes on your timeline, I'm going to go ahead and share it on mine.
Yes, yes,
Okay?
and yeah, and but the great thing in the future is if you get it linked,
Yeah.
anytime you go on, you can be on as long as you want, and it's live. We see the beautiful nostrils, we see the
Okay.
pores, we see the eyes.
Uh,
Now we might drive a few people right out of their mind, but I think it's worth it for the greater good. What do you think?
Done deal. Done deal. Will do, Michael. Thank you for having me. And it's my pleasure to be on your show. And I just feel so blessed that you think that I'm worth the
Oh my
effort.
God.
It's very kind of you.
Oh, you're amazing. You and I have great fluidity. I would love for you to give me, if you can, 3 short tips, like within like a 5 minute thing, okay? About, because you've done so many Twitter Spaces, and you've done
Yeah.
them at such a high level. What are
Yeah.
some of the things, like how do you, first of all, how do you navigate your room? I know how Tim does.
Yeah.
Tim does with an iron fist, which is the way
Yeah.
yours tend to get a little more free flowing than Tim's do, but
Yeah.
you're also
Yeah.
really good at it's
So here are my 3 tips, Michael. This is what I constantly reinforce to my crowd, because I've got my own following. They come every single time. Like, I'm going to create a space in 30 minutes, and I know the crowd that's going to come in.
yes.
And every time they come in, I reinforce 3 things to them. I say, listen, if you're going to come on a Twitter space, come with an open mind. Have the patience to listen to people, and have the tolerance to receive their perspectives and opinions without judging them.
Mhm.
So these 3 things, if anybody practices, they will never have a bad experience on Twitter Space. Open mind, patience, and tolerance. These 3 things you have to practice. I think in your life, when you're attending a session, when you're with people, at the moment you start judging, because the only thing that can judge is God and nobody else. And so when we start forming opinions and stop, or rather start disrespecting other people's opinions and perspectives because we think we are right, that is when everything goes wrong. Have the patience and the tolerance to listen to others, understand what their perspective is and look at it from their lens, look at it from their point of view, and hopefully you can get something out of it, because each one of us is made is differently. So but to keep an open mind, if I go into an American space, there might be all kinds of people sitting there. I need to go with an open mind that, look, here's a space, there's 50, 100 people sitting here. They all are a product of their environment. They are from different backgrounds. They've been raised differently. They might have their own sort of experiences in life. I should completely keep my mind open and receive the information. The things that resonate with me, I keep them with me. The ones that don't, I let it go. So there you go, Michael. Those are my three things that I try and practice in my own life, and I tell others to do.
I noticed you posted this.
Yes.
So you,
I have a pet peeve with this whole toilet thing. When I even travel, Michael, or when
Yes.
I'm traveling, the most important thing to me is the toilet. Is how is the restroom? How is the bathroom? I've got a real issue with this. I just, it's very difficult for me to handle it. So that's why I posted that today. So
is there anything you'd like to promote before you go, or anyone you would like to do a quick shout out to before we leave?
my shout out is to Michael, because he is the person who motivates me to keep going. So I love you, Michael. You do an amazing job. You're motivating so many of us to bring out the best. And, I think it's just a wonderful thing that you're doing, because nobody's doing what you're doing, Michael. That to me is the key, is when people like us are down and out, you come and you motivate us to keep doing what we're doing. So thank you for that, Michael.
Well, I think that we're all doing it. Like Tim is doing it in his own way.
Yeah.
You're doing it in
Yeah.
your own flavor.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
someone wants to check you out today, you said you're going to be on in 30 minutes.
Yeah,
On
I'm going to be doing a space in about 30 minutes. And it's basically, we're just going to do a little chit chat. And just as the topics come, we'll discuss them. But, I'm going to try today and speak a little bit about, morals and ethics in life.
Mhm.
I see people are stooping a bit low, character assassination on Twitter spaces, going after somebody, creating a space against somebody, things like that. I just feel that, there's a lot more to life than trying to, uh, try and create trouble for others. If you don't like something, just press the leave button and leave the space. But you don't have to get into arguments, conflicts, confrontations. Just avoid. Go find your own crowd, somebody with your mindset. Don't let people upset you, and just do your thing. And I firmly believe that your vibe attracts your tribe. And so the people that love me, they come into my space, and they stay with me because they like my vibe. I vibe with them. We all have similar mindsets. We have similar passions, and so it's wonderful to interact with people that are like-minded to you. Those odd occasional ones will come in, and you just look. The thing is that I have a real problem with this whole mic issue. Because I have been very sort of lenient in giving out mics, but sometimes if you are not careful, somebody will come and do you know that the pin up on the top can only be done if you're a speaker. So you give the mic to somebody. Like today in my friend's space, somebody came and pinned up some soft porn, and it was ridiculous.
You have to be careful. You have to be
Yeah,
really careful, because it
absolutely.
reflects on you as well.
That's right. That's right. And it took my friend 20 minutes to remove all those pins because there were so many of them. And I pointed it out to him. I said, look, somebody's just come and pinned that. He said, oh, I didn't even notice it. And so things can happen like this. So you have to be extra careful. That's why the host has to be so attentive when he's doing a space. It's a lot of responsibility on your shoulders.
It's a lot of energy
Absolutely.
holding that,
Absolutely.
and then you also have to kind of direct it in a way
That's
to
right.
keep it going, because
That's right.
they can get in lulls.
Yeah.
Not with you and I.
Yeah,
There, yeah, we might get a breath in once in a while, but
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for
Actually,
being.
people sometimes tell me that, we're surprised that you can speak for so long. It's because I can. I'll take a subject and I'll talk about it at length. I'll be able to share my experience, and I'll be able to go into certain details. As a host, I love to talk, and if people want to listen, they'll listen. If somebody wants to, want to share their stuff, as soon as I'm
Mhm.
done, they can speak on it. But yeah, it's all good, Michael. I think I get sometimes a lot of motivation from the crowd that comes into the room as well, because you find some real gems in there. Yeah,
Yeah, you love those gems.
I do.
Yeah,
I
you
do.
love those gems. See, here's the thing with you, though, and I've noticed it. You have such a passion for living, and you have such a passion for giving, and you have such a beautiful soul that really wants to help. And for the ones that give the most, I find they have to find ways to replenish the well. But I think with you actually doing spaces in some ways, if it's not negative, feeds your well. And you have to take time sometimes just to step away and be kind to you. And those are the days that you can groom the nostrils and do your nails and pedicures and all that other good
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, I try and stay happy all the time, Michael. I don't let things put me into depression. I don't take stress too much. I'm happy. I'm
Yeah.
content. Whatever I have going on in my life, whether it's a low or a high, I just take it because the way I look at it, this is what life is all about. When somebody says define life, well, your journey is your basically the definition of life, and you'll have those odd moments when you'll be thrown a curveball, and all you can do is try and hit it back. Sometimes you miss, sometimes you connect, and so just be happy, just stay positive. People around you should feel your aura, your positive aura. They should be attracted to you because you're a kind person. And one day I'll talk about my mentor, Michael, and I'll tell
Mm-hmm.
you what a beautiful man he was and how he played a role in my life. I think
We'll do that. We'll do that next time.
absolutely, Michael,
So
absolutely.
wave. I'm gonna wave. Thank you everyone who's been here. I'm so blessed to have the guests that I do have and the people I have in my life, and thank you for being a source of inspiration of mine. Thank you so much, Solomon.
Thank you for your kind words, Michael. Take care of yourself.